In Japanese-occupied Korea, a con man operating under the alias of Count Fujiwara plans to seduce a Japanese heiress named Lady Hideko, then marry her and commit her to an asylum to steal her inheritance. He hires a pickpocket named Suki to become Hideko's maid and encourages Hideko to marry him. Hideko lives with her uncle Kozuki, a Korean man who helped the Japanese take over his country in exchange for a gold mine. Kozuki then uses this wealth to feed his obsession with rare books, selling forgeries to accumulate money and books further. Suki's main job is to help Hideko prepare to read for Kozuki's guests. Returning frustrated from a reading, Hideko demands Suki sleep next to her. The two make love under the pretext of preparing Hideko for her married life with the Count. Suki begins expressing reluctance about the plan, but when Hideko suggests she loves someone other than the Count, Suki insists on the marriage, and Hideko slaps her and violently throws her out of the room. When Kozuki leaves on business for a week, Hideko and Fujiwara elope. After cashing out Hideko's inheritance, it is revealed that Hideko's naivete was part of the con. She and Fujiwara double-crossed Suki, and convinced the asylum that she was the countess to have her committed in Hideko's stead. A series of flashbacks show that Hideko's reading practice was Kozuki, teaching her to read sadistic pornography since she was 5 years old erotically. The flashbacks show a regimen of psychological and physical abuse that gradually degrades the sanity of Hideko's aunt, who is eventually found hanging from a tree in the yard, so Hideko takes over as the reader for the auctions. When Hideko questions the description of hanging in a book she has to read, Kozuki tells her that he murdered her aunt using torture devices in the basement, after she attempted to run away. In the more recent past, the Count realizes seducing Hideko would be impossible, and instead includes her in the plan to elope and then split her inheritance. When Hideko expresses her fear of her uncle, the Count bribes her a vial of opium to commit suicide so that she can never be taken to the basement alive, calling it a wedding present. Hideko demands the Count find her a girl to hire as a maid to commit to an asylum in Hideko's place. While instructed by the Count who takes advantage of Suki's illiteracy, Hideko unexpectedly falls in love with her. Hideko tries to confess her love, but when Suki insists the marriage go forward, Hideko throws her out of the bedroom and then tries to hang herself. Suki saves her, and both admit to their plots. Hideko helps Suki write a letter to her family to say she has teamed up with Hideko, asking for their help plotting to get Hideko and Suki away from the men manipulating them. Hideko shows Suki the books she was forced to read, and Suki begins destroying the library. Hideko calls Suki her savior and beats her uncle's collection. After leaving Suki at the asylum, Fujiwara and Hideko eat together at a high-class hotel, where he tells her of his past and asks her to marry him again, this time as Suki, as they have switched identities. He also reveals that Suki will die within a few days, causing Hideko to question Fujiwara's desires. Suki's friend Bok-soon sets a fire at the asylum and poses as a firefighter to rescue her. Hideko doses Fujiwara's wine with drops from the opium vial, causing him to pass out and allowing her to leave with her money. The women reunite and flee, disguising Hideko as a man to avoid detection. Kozuki captures Fujiwara after receiving a letter from Hideko detailing Fujiwara's deception. He tortures Fujiwara in his cellar with his collection of antique bookmaking tools, and presses him for sexual details about his niece. Fujiwara makes up a story about making love on their wedding night. At the same time, a flashback shows that he watched Hideko masturbate before cutting her hand with a knife to stain her sheets with blood, refusing to consummate the marriage. When Kozuki presses for more details, Fujiwara convinces him to give him one of his cigarettes, after which he disgustedly refuses to provide further information. Kozuki notices the cigarettes are producing blue smoke, and Fujiwara reveals that his cigarettes are laced with mercury, and the toxic gas in the smoke kills them both. On a ferry to Shanghai, China, Suki and Hideko celebrate their newfound freedom by making love once again.